Welcome to A Fan's Perspective, episode 23. This your boy Boogie 45. I got my JD in here. How you feeling?
Everything good, big bro. How you doing today?
Shit, I'm cooling, man. You know what I mean? Just dealing with some technical crap in some of these joints, man, but it is what it is.
They don't never want us to be great. That's why we got to stay persevering through all the bull crap.
Yes, sir. All right, so first topic, father kills cop in revenge allegedly for his son getting killed. So we're going to play that real fast. Feel you.
Violence in the last several hours. We are following several shootings, including one in Cincinnati where police shot and killed an armed 18-year-old. And then not even 24 hours later, get this, police say the victim's father intentionally drove into the deputy involved in his son's shooting. The deputy is dead. CBS News correspondent Chanel Call is following this story and more from the newsroom. Chanel, what's the latest in that case in Ohio? This is not only one issue of violence, but then a second follow-up issue.
Yeah, Reed, just a tragic story out of Ohio this hour. A man whose teenage son was killed by police in Cincinnati, now accused of killing a sheriff's deputy. Rodney Hinton allegedly rammed his car into that officer. We now know that officer has been identified as Deputy Leary Henderson, a 33-year veteran. Henderson was notably not involved in Hinton's son's death, but want to show you police body camera video of the terrifying.
Now, look, right, just put some context to it. The cop that got killed was retired and he was doing some extra work, but he was already in retirement. You feel me? So I'm just putting some little context to it.
Moments before officers shot and killed Hinton's 18-year-old son, Ryan Hinton, and want to warn you, it can be a bit tough to watch. So, Reed, police say Ryan Hinton was shot twice and killed by police. This happened on Thursday during a chase after officers had responded to a call about a stolen car. His father, Rodney Hinton, now being held without bond, and police say, as well as his public defender, is saying that he had no felonies on his record. And his public defender also said this was an emotionally charged situation.
Well,
all right. So what's your thoughts on that, bro?
Man, as a father, you know what I mean, to see your 18-year-old son, get taken away from you, you know what I mean, by the police over a simple chase, you know what I mean? His son ain't even, like I said, when we was talking backstage about Lil Bray, ain't even got a chance to sniff life yet, you know what I mean? And the rage that father has for his baby boy, you know what I mean? It definitely hurts. And I ain't trying to condone what Brad did, but yet, in the heat of the moment like that, it ain't no telling what Brad, his grief, he hurt, his heart really probably literally broken, you know what I mean? That could have been his only son, and I ain't sitting here trying to just make excuses for Brad what he did, you know what I mean? But still, I just, the hurt that Brad has, especially, me being a father my damn self, and just even, I can't even fathom that, you know what I mean? 100%.
Yeah, like, well, they said that his son was 4 deep. They took the police on a chase. He got out the car running. They claimed that he pointed a gun at them, but as I could see in that still image, I didn't see him pointing no gun at them. Then somebody else said that they heard metal clink against the floor like the gun had dropped. So what is it? Did you point the gun? Did he point the gun at you, or did the gun drop? Either way, you shot him. And like I said, when you have all these cases of unarmed people getting killed, and you got people that's sitting around watching this, everybody's not going to take the same approach and wait for justice to come, because it seems like when it comes to melanated people, our justice gets discounted. You know what I mean? Our justice gets discounted. And I ain't condoning it, but everybody's not gonna have the same approach when it comes to losing someone they love, Some people is going to go the justice route. Some people is going to go the vigilante route. What I will say is, I hope he don't go to trial with that public defender. You know what I mean? That's the thing, because that's going to be crazy. Now, the thing is, they're saying that they charge him with aggravated murder, right? So the thing is, though, you have to prove his intention. You know what I mean? You have to prove his intention. You have to prove that he intentionally did this. Either he planned to do this or he intentionally did it. How do you prove intent? I don't know. I mean, if this just happened out of the blue and there was no conversation, he didn't talk to anybody about it or anything like that, then how can you prove intent? He could have lost control. You know what I mean? Now, I would say this, that, the way he was grilling them cops, it didn't make him look any less innocent. But, at the end of the day, you still have to prove that he intentionally did what he did. So that's the whole thing with that right there.
Yeah, definitely rest in peace to Lil Brad for sure. You know what I mean? And condolences to his family, because, that's the situation was in broad daylight for use, whether, they were strapped up or not. The strap dropped. They didn't point the strap at none of the officers because they ain't said nothing like that. And then cold thing is, what if we don't even find no strap on the scene or somewhere thrown away? You know what I mean? That's another thing. Like, come on now, just not too long ago in my city, Stephon Clark, you know what I mean? Rest in peace to Stephon Clark. This was at midnight, you know what I mean? And all he had was a phone, and they said he had a blammy, you know what I mean? And ended up, he lost his life, you know what I mean? Because they said he put a blammy on him, and really it was a phone in his hand, at his grandma's house. He's at home on his property. You feel me?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
crazy.
my mama, that's crazy. 100%, bro. You know what I mean? Like you said, the people can only take so much. 100%. But you know what I mean? These police, you know what I mean? You could just be getting pulled over for a traffic stop, right? And when the police be on bull crap, because like you said, whether you melanin or not, you gonna feel this or you ain't gonna feel it. But if that motherfucker got his hand on his hip, he's scary. You know what I mean? No motherfucker ain't gonna come like that. Hey, how you doing today, sir? How you doing, ma'am? I caught you doing 40 in a motherfucking 25. You know what I mean? Woo-wah. Another motherfucker gonna be coming up there and he hella aggressive because he's scared. That's why he got his motherfucking hand on his hip, just in case he gotta pull out real fast, try and beat you to the draw. Check me out though. I'm telling you, them motherfuckers be like that shit, bro. And you got to peep that shit. Them is the ones that you always want to do. Like when I get pulled over and I ain't been interviewed in a long time, my first go-to, even before it was a thing, bro, I'm throwing my hands. I didn't have too many interviews. I don't want no problems. Like how you said when the gun, they said like it dropped and it hit something. Well, if it hit metal, they ain't in no motherfucking old school. You know what I mean? Old schools only got the metal floors, but what old schools do got too, I mean, some cars do got, they got the metal seatbelt. See, I've also been drawn down on the police before because I was riding without no seatbelt, but I'm in my old school, we throw the seatbelts on, it go clack, clack. That motherfucker come up with his gun ready to go, 100%. Hey, we ain't doing that, man. I just ain't had my seatbelt on, so I know how that shit go. But for this to be broad daylight, and if ain't no gun found, or even if it was a gun found, because they got fucking all the body footages on right when they say it's a chase. You know what I mean? All the cameras gotta be on. So if ain't nobody pulled no gun on nobody or nothing, bro, they're done. But yet we had to lose another youth in order to get to this point, and that's what's so fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's an unfortunate situation. I mean, it's an unfortunate situation. I tell you one thing though. I mean, I don't, just as far as getting pulled over, like I don't argue with police. I don't even speak. They speak first, and then I reply, and whatever they're asking for, I give them. and I go on about my business. I don't got no time to be arguing with no cop. You know what I mean? If he's in the wrong, I take it up. I'll fight it in court. I don't have no time to be arguing with no police, because at the end of the day, you know, they pull up on your car with a pistol. They already got the upper hand. You know what I mean? So, you know, and this has been a constant problem, you know, with some cops being quick on the trigger. So, you know, to prevent all that, you know, my whole goal is to make it home at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So, but as far as this situation, like I said, everybody's not going to react the same to losing their family members. So, you know, there's some people that's just going to have a different way of looking at it. You know, they're not gonna wait for justice. They're gonna take justice into their own hands. You know, and like I said, I don't even know if that guy did that intentionally, so I can't really say. You know, that has to be proven in the court of law. So, you know, we'll see how this case goes, man. Anything going out on this one?
Just rest in peace to Lil Brad, man. 100%.
For sure, sure. All right, so the next topic, the Diddy trial starts today. Well, it started today, you know, and they're doing jury selection. So I'm gonna play a little something from that. See what they talking about.
Jury selection for the criminal trial of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs started today in New York City. The rapper and producer faces multiple charges, including racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. Prosecutors allege Combs was the mastermind behind a years-long operation to sexually abuse women. He denies any wrongdoing and rejected a plea deal that could have resulted in a lighter sentence. He faces life in.
Diddy had a whole head of full grade.
That's crazy.
Stressing.
Hey, he don't got no Just for Men in there.
Huh?
On my mama.
Ain't no more covering that up. You gotta let it all hang out now.
In prison if convicted. We're joined now by Gina Barton, investigative reporter for USA Today. Thanks for being with us, Gina. So jury selection started today. What are you hearing from your colleagues in the courtroom about how hard it's going to be to find people to serve on this case?
The judge has estimated that it'll only take 3 days to pick a jury, but from how slowly things are going, it may take longer. They're interviewing each juror separately and individually. They have 150 people that they called in. One of them, they spoke to a single person for about 25 minutes. So it could take quite a while to find 12 jurors and some alternates.
And the complication is that there are very few people who don't know who he is, or at least know something about this case.
There are so many people who know about the case.
See, this is the thing I don't understand, right? The juror ain't supposed to know nothing about the case, but how do you do that in this era, in this time? You know, of social media,
right?
You know, how do you prevent the jurors from not knowing about this case when it's all over everything? You're gonna lock them in the room and say they can't have their phone? That's probably the only way. And then who's to say that they didn't learn about all of this stuff before they even went to, you know, before they even got picked to be a juror?
Man, and this motherfucker been a public figure since the 90s. Damn near everybody and their mama done got some type of whiff of them in this age bracket. So what is he, like early 50s? So anybody 50 his age bracket and down under, they or pause, you know what I mean, under him, pause again, they probably done got some whiff of this bruh's name before and now. 100%. I'm glad I don't live in that where they picking jurors at, on my mama.
Yeah, they had people waiting outside the building wrapped around the corner for hours.
Fuck that.
So, you know,
who are familiar with Sean Puffy Combs, who have seen the video of him allegedly attacking his former girlfriend Cassie in a hotel hallway. And they're also asking jurors if they have ever been sexually assaulted or know anyone close to them who has been sexually assaulted, because they want jurors who are going to be objective and not have any thoughts about victimization coming in. And as you know, about 25% of women have had some sort of experience with sexual assault or sexual harassment.
But see, this is the thing, right? I'm not understanding about this. Like, how is Cassie able to testify against Diddy when she got paid that 30 million, and I'm pretty sure they would end some NDAs in place when they did that. So NDA doesn't mean nothing once it turns to something criminal.
Yeah, especially if she gets subpoenaed by the fucking court. 100%, she gonna have to spill the beans.
That's crazy. So he better off not paying her. If you wasn't gonna pay her in the beginning when she had the evidence, then there's no point of doubling back. You might as well just stand on it, because now once it hits the media, there's no point of paying her now. Because now if it turns something criminal, now she can be subpoenaed and that NDA means nothing. You feel me? Like it just is crazy. And then the only thing that I could see that they have, I would say they have more traction on, is him putting hands on Cassie, which is domestic. And if he was flying chicks in and dudes in to have sex, because they could frame that as they're trying to frame that as trafficking. Like, you call somebody up and you fly them in to participate in those activities and they get paid or whatever. They're framing that as trafficking. So those are the only two things. I mean, as far as him having a RICO charge, I don't see what's the RICO? Because those are, the RICO is based on racketeering. You know what I mean? So what's the RICO?
And unless he was using
business and entertainment, so I don't see where's the RICO at, and how you have a one-man RICO. Like, there's that don't make any sense. Like, there's no co-defendants or nothing.
Right.
There's no illegal business that's going on to say that, okay, this is a racket, and there's no co-defendants. So how is it a RICO?
Well, if they trying to hit him with the trafficking, and then if bruh is using any of his company's money, whether it be credit cards, whether it be cash withdrawn from that account, I'm not trying to make anything seem like bruh guilty, 100%. I can't wait till start getting the evidence. But if he is funneling any company funds to further his pleasure and the people that hang around him his pleasure, which happens to be illegal pleasure, then I don't know, bro. I mean, it's just, I just can't wait till this stuff comes out, because I think he coming home, bro. 100%. You know what I mean? I definitely think if it ain't gonna be if he do gotta do some time, it ain't gonna be too much. 100%. On my mama. The stuff with the Cassie stuff, like I understand that it's on camera, like, what that happened and whatnot, but if there's no other hardcore evidence of him doing anything else that they say, now they say they got a lot of digital footprints, we don't know what's on that, 100%. But if it's only the Cassie stuff, it's like, she didn't go to the court to go get charges put on, bruh. She wanted pain and suffering, and whatever the pain and suffering was, she got it from bruh. So if they building their case off of that, then like I said, I think we see bruh come home real soon. But now if they got some other stuff, then it's gonna have to be fought out in the court. And then one of the sayings over here is by choice or by force. Now, when it comes to that game that we talking about, the pleasure for play or whatnot, is it by choice or is it by force? Now, when you forcing a motherfucker, whoa, you got a lot of problems on your hand. But when it's by force, when it's by choice, then what is the problem?
Yeah, you see, the thing that, all right, I'm gonna put something up on the screen real fast, right? And you tell me what you think. Okay, so this is the R. Kelly case right here, right? So it says Robert. All right, so R. Kelly was sentenced by U.S. District Judge Ann M. Donnelly to 30 years in prison June 29th. Okay, following 6 weeks of trial. Now, he was convicted on all 9 counts of a superseding indictment charging him with racketeering predicated on criminal conduct, including sexual exploitation of children, forced labor, and Mann Act violations involving the coercion and transportation of women and girls in interstate commerce to engage in illegal sexual activity. Right? R. Kelly used his fame, fortune, and enablers to prey on the young, vulnerable, and the voiceless of his own for his own sexual gratification, while many turned a blind eye. Through his actions, Kelly exhibited a callous regard for the devastation of his crimes, had on his victims, and has shown no remorse for his conduct. With today's sentence, he's finally been appropriately held accountable for his decades of abuse, exploitation, and degradation of teenagers and other vulnerable young people. Right? So they said, all right, as proven at trial for nearly 3 decades, Kelly was the leader of a criminal enterprise. The enterprise consisted of himself and had an entourage of individuals that served as managers, bodyguards, accountants, drivers, personal assistants, and runners for the defendant. But my thing is, why wasn't these people put on trial? Why is he the only one on trial?
Because they probably got immunity to tell.
All right. Okay.
But the main thing is, in this case, though, this says children and teenagers.
I mean, it's sounding like the same thing when it comes to Puff, yo.
Besides
it being children, it's sounding like the same exact thing. The racketeering, you know, and instead of
the minions helped him further his enterprise, and even though it was by choice because they accepted payroll from him, but now when you turn state's evidence to tell them that this dude what he has been doing, and I got tapes or I got text messages for him telling me what to go do, or his right hand man telling me what to go do, or right hand woman, you know what I mean? It's a digital footprint 100%. But with this shit right here though, that we looking at it right off the rip, it got to do with it said teenagers and kids in over 30 years, because we seen bruh early 2000s with the videotape shit. You know what I mean? They had been building the case on this dude right here. Only reason why, in my opinion, that Puffy getting attacked is because of the Cassie shit and the fucking De Leon shit. You know what I mean? 100%.
The De Leon stuff ain't even gonna be a factor in this case. You know what I mean?
Well, so to me, in my opinion, what I'm saying is by him going at them people that is power players, all they got to do is just drop the dime. Look, bro, I need you to go ahead and flip that switch. We been know what he was going on. 100%, bro. They got people that be in them circles that know what's going on. And when a motherfucker ain't doing what they supposed to be doing, you know what I mean? That's part of this association, or we ain't got to say exactly what's going on. Man, that shit'll get flipped, man. Hey, we're going to press the button for all the bullshit that you've been doing to get super exceeded to get to the forefront.
Okay, check this out, right? Racketeering Act 1, bribery. Act 2, 7 and 10, sexual exploitation of a child. Act 6, 11 and 13, forced labor, which is something they hitting him with. They're hitting him with this forced labor thing and the bribery, right? The Mann Act violations, you know, have people come to their residence for the purpose of sexual activity. These charges are similar. Outside of the thing with the children, these charges are similar. So my thing is, if these charges are similar and they was able to convict R. Kelly, you know, by the testimony of, you know, victims and people that was, you know, doing his bidding for him and things like that, why would it be so hard for them to convict Puff off the same thing?
Because of the kids. These if the minions for Puffy and the people that were coming to pleasure people allegedly for pay, you know what I mean? If it was by choice, you know what I mean? He not holding nobody against their will. It's a Diddy party. Everybody's here for a reason. You got the party, and then you got the party. It's your birthday, Playboy. Why you ain't never played party with me for your birthday, Playboy? Man, I ain't trying to party with you on your motherfucking. Come on now, we know what it is. You know what I mean? If it's by choice, bruh gonna get off. this R. Kelly shit, the main thing in that motherfucker is minors. 100% on top of motherfuckers enhancing him to allow him to do what he did. You know what I mean? 100%. I understand why ain't nobody. I mean, why didn't nobody else get charged with, bruh? So one man Rico, but I think that they gave up everything that they had in order to build the case up against this just one man.
I mean, a woman could say that I didn't get paid. I was forced.
Yeah,
I mean, you gotta prove that I got paid.
It's gonna be receipts because the minions are the ones that's handling the little itty bitty amounts of cheese. These motherfucking Tatianas and the people that want to come to the party, bro. It ain't about the fucking money. It's about being in the ambience and partaking what's going on. Of course, the money. Okay, I get some new couple dollars to go get some shoes or something like that. But it's fucking nibbles off of him, you know what I mean? But you know, you gonna say, oh, I got 50,000 to make sure you get, you know, X amount of people here or something like that.
But those people are gonna turn state evidence against Puff. Ain't nobody going down for Puff.
That's what I'm saying. So that's exactly what I'm
I
saying.
didn't get paid. I was forced. I came to the party and I was forced.
Well, you know, well then they must have not got enough money.
I mean, for real, like, you know, they don't have to keep it, you know, be transparent. They can say, okay, well, I came to the party and I drank something and I felt something and I didn't feel right and I just woke up and this happened to me.
Yeah, but I think we would have been heard that by now because this dude has been in the limelight since Jodeci and before Jodeci. He's written songs and helped Andre Harrell start his motherfucking company. And since then, even though we got weird shit about, you know, partaking and it's all on.
We don't know what the feds got.
Huh?
We really don't know what the feds got. We don't know what the feds got.
That's what I said. I also said that
exposed with what they actually have.
I also said that as well. The digital footprint, what's going on? What these motherfuckers suppress to be able to get off of if they have involved themselves inside this criminal organization that they allegedly say is going on. So if you want to get up out of it, of course you're going to give the evidence. Come on now.
Yeah, I don't know, man, with Puff, man. I think they got him in a trick bag. You know, I think they got him in a trick bag, and I don't know what's going to be the outcome because I don't know what the feds actually have on him. You know what I mean? Like, you know.
Well, they tried to leak the baby oil and whatever else, what stuff was going on. And then once that leak got out, we didn't hear nothing else from that. And you know what I mean? What they're trying to do, like how the fucking news story said, is that, you know, it's going to take a long time for them to pick a jury because everybody is tainted. You know what I mean? And that's why they leaked the baby oil shit. And that was last year. You know what I mean? They want to have, you know, they want to win in the public court of opinion first. So when they get into jury selection and get in that courtroom, they feel like they got an advantage. That's why this dude is probably going to go broke paying the fucking dream team to get home. Fuck it. Let me get home like OJ, broke scot-free, and I'm doing my thing 100% instead of living behind these motherfucking walls like R. Kelly. But the thing is, this dude got kids on his shit. I'm telling you, man, that shit that I think fucking Diddy is coming home, whether it be sometime soon or not a lot of time. It's not going to be a lot of time, bro. It's not going to be double digits. I don't think so, bro. 100%.
I don't know, man, because, you know, with the R. Kelly trial, I seen like they did the same exact thing to R. Kelly. They did documentaries on this dude. I seen the whole chain of events, the Me Too movement, then the documentary came out, then R. Kelly gets picked up. Once they was able to convince the people that R. Kelly was a predator, then R. Kelly gets picked up, he gets charges put on him. And you know, they probably been doing their investigation and stuff like that. But
bro was playing her kids. I mean, he had Aaliyah at 16, bro, and she talked about it. You know what I mean, bro? That's not nothing new with bro.
I don't like, where were the other kids that were underage though? Like that never got put out there.
Because they minors, you can't put them out there like that unless they want to come willingly. You don't have to put a minor in any type of case because it happened to them as a minor. The only time you're going to hear about the minor talking about it is because if they willingly want to talk about it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know, man. I just feel like they kind of framing this like the R. Kelly situation, and I think that they're gonna start using this to take this is a trick bag for dudes as powerful that can't control their cravings. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's what I think. Like you can't have 90s fun in this era. You can't, because all the stuff, it was all fine and dandy in the 90s. Now you come in this era, like people going to jail for the things that they thought was just under the guise of we having fun. We having fun as adults. You know what I mean?
And that's what it should be. If they choose to partake in that, that's what they choose to do. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong if you want to have however many people, and that's what I mean, that's what it is. You know what I mean? As long as it's not forced or tricked upon, like the fucking movie that we what's the name of the movie that we was gonna break down with Shannon Tatum, and they go to the island.
Yeah.
What's the name of that motherfucking movie? But yeah, and remember they was drinking the woo wop and they started, huh?
You talking about Blink Twice?
Blink Twice on my mama. Now, see, look, even though they all was partaking in drinking the juice and whatnot, hey, there it is there. You know what I mean? I didn't finish the movie. I know that they all partaked in drinking the juice. So if you partake in drinking the juice, you know what time it is. But if you drink the juice and you didn't know what was in there, it's a different story then. 100%, bro.
Yo, that movie, the timing of that movie was crazy because that movie came out right when Puff got locked up for this whole situation. And some of the way the girl was getting with how they was getting drugged was through the perfume. It was a perfume.
I didn't get that far.
That was in the room and that they put on every day, and it was making them forget about the night before.
See, I didn't get that far on my mama. I got to the part where they was all at the dinner table and they all started taking the first shot of the woo wop.
Yeah.
Whatever the relaxation was, 100%.
Yeah, that wasn't it was through the perfume that they got this perfume in a bedroom, and they'll put it on and it'll make them forget the night before, but then they'll see bruises and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And they'll be wondering like, where did it come from?
Yeah.
And it's not until it was an older Mexican lady,
the groundskeeper lady,
my
mama,
and one of the chicks was in the bathroom, or must have came to. Oh no, she came to go in the bathroom. She snuck in the house, and she came to go in the bathroom, and the Mexican groundskeeper was there, and she kind of startled her, and she was like, she convinced her to take a shot with her, but she had to take a shot of snake venom.
And they always kept them snakes on everything.
Snake venom is what made them remember what happened the day before.
Oh, wow.
So now she took the snake venom and she had it. She took some of it to like the sit downs that they be having, and she threw it in the liquor, and they all started taking shots.
Oh, wow.
And they started remembering what was happening. And then that's how the whole thing got unraveled. And they started realizing they was getting violated.
Wow.
Man, real talk. Wow. So, it's crazy that movie dropped like right when Puff got locked up. So it made people believe that even if they didn't watch anything about the Puffy situation, right? If they being called as a juror and they see how the case is outlined and they watch that movie, like, how you gonna say that they not tainted?
100%.
Like, yo, that's crazy. Like the lineup is serious. The lineup is super serious, man. So I don't know.
Yeah, them is facts, bro. I wouldn't want to be on that jury pool neither, though. 100%. Oh my
God, man, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, because you're gonna be in there for forever. Look at the motherfuckers that was on the Young Thug case.
Yeah,
100%. The motherfucker was in there for what?
I mean, this the feds, though. Like the feds don't waste time like the state. Like if that was a federal case, they would have been in jail already.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have been them crazy plea deals and all of that. They don't even give all that unless you just are gonna be a full out working for them for real. You know what I'm saying?
Come on now.
So, but I don't know, man. It's just tricky, you know. It's tricky. It's a tricky situation, man. You know, dudes just got to be careful out there, man. Like, you know, y'all having these parties and all that, and next thing you know, when you know you get a little too powerful for them, you know, then they start throwing slacks at you. But I think the main problem is though, overall, I think when like when black folks try to go after power, they go after power by themselves. And you can't acquire power by yourself. You gotta have a team. People that's everybody watching each other back. You can't just go after something powerful like that by yourself and think that you're just gonna be able, it's just gonna be you and your money. These folks print money. And there's people way richer than Puff. You know what I mean? These folks, they're way richer than Puff. So it's gonna be big bank take little bank. You know what I mean? You know, just like when somebody with money is beefing with somebody with less money, they figure, okay, yeah, well, you know, I'm gonna put a hit out. I don't even got to get my hands dirty. It's the same thing when you're beefing in business. Like, I'm gonna create a smear campaign. Now, the smear campaigns of this era is a lot more dangerous than the previous era because a smear campaign can put you in prison. That's what I'm seeing. The wrong smear campaign can put you in prison, especially if your money ain't right and you ain't got the type of money to fight that case. You know what I mean? You know, so that's pretty much what I gotta say about that. Any thoughts going on this one?
Yeah, them skeletons gonna come to light no matter what you do. 100%. If you got a whole bunch of Guccini or you ain't got no Guccini in your bank account, you know what I mean? Whether it be karma, whether it be the law, whatever you do in the dark, it's gonna come out to the light. So you know what I mean? Just walk a straight path. You know what I mean? But sometimes we got to do some right in order to do some wrong. I mean, we got to do some wrong. Never mind, bro. I'm a little bit hit my shit, but y'all know what I'm talking about, bro. 100%. Shout out to E40, man. Uncle Foley Water.
Yeah. Now the last one, no jumping vandalize. Pull that up real fast.
Watch this video to find out why Adam 22 and No Jumper just got banned from LA by 100 Crips.
Bro, these folks are tripping right now, dog. Bro, hey, they come outside. Hey, bro, they're tripping, bro.
What you tripping on? What
you
told us to be here?
Nah, bro, I know, but you wasn't supposed to be like super deep like that. You said it was just gonna be the two y'all was gonna come back right now.
And my 6 hoes and my home.
I get it. Yeah, you know, I'm trying to.
My cousin. Yeah, we was waiting, and like you said, and they were saying, and now they're not letting us.
This is the second call.
So we got a call.
Yeah, I guess it just
We out of here. I
don't know who called.
They called the police.
So this is the second call.
Yeah, man, let's get that on. Stay out. This ain't out to whack, cuz. No Jumper, nigga. Fuck Adam, nigga. Lush, cuz. Nigga, y'all invited us here, bro. Niggas a lot of money to be here and bring gifts and drop the mics and video man, cuz. So y'all want to play with us, cuz? Y'all got to get the out of LA, nigga.
Adam 22 will go on to make a statement placing all blame on its employee, Lush One.
Basically, like, I don't know, 40 dudes showed up at the office and they had cakes and all kinds of crazy shit. Like, you know, a big truck with No Jumper graphics on the side, whatever. So I can't really even blame anybody who pulled up. I can only blame Lush.
Here's the clip of Lush inviting Travis Ford to No Jumper.
Asada issue. I need my asada fries.
Come get your asada issue, man. Taco P been waiting on you.
Easy call. Hey, this Wednesday, No Jumper, we turning up, gang.
Oh, we turning all the way up.
I need my neighbors in the building. I need my neighbors.
Oh, gang, man. We got my niggas from 6-0, Blue Cinco coming out, man. We got my boy Shot of Fall, the whole gang, man. Shout out Global Bill. I'm bringing some shit, Lush.
Hey, what they call me in the main streets?
So Lush invited him up there. Lush invited him up there. But my thing is, like, I don't know, man. I feel like it's getting closer and closer to something happening. You know what I mean? I don't know what you think.
Adam is a deny. Bro, what gave Lush the idea that he can call to play and bring somebody to somewhere that he don't got nothing to do with? He don't pay no bills up there. You know what I mean? Woo, wop. He's an employee of that motherfucker. So look, Adam, you know what I mean? You didn't gave this dude the clearance to go ahead and invite interviewees up there. You know what I mean? Now Brad want to say, oh, I didn't know it was gonna be so many people. Well, we just seen right there. I need the whole whatever he was talking about on the phone on the FaceTime. You know what I mean? So clearly, whether it was, oh, you thought it was only going to be 2 people or you gave the clearance for whatever, bruh, shit, you know what I mean? He got too much shit going on. You just seen whether it was fake or not. Somebody got pistol whipped at the end of the year. You know what I mean? Come on now. 100% on them same premises.
Yeah. I mean, you got one dude claiming he got popped up there. Then you got another dude that got pistol whipped, pockets ran through. You got dudes going to jail off the podcast because of stuff they talking about, you know, that already transpired. Then you got dudes vandalizing the spot, right? I don't know. I just feel like every event that happens is getting closer and closer to somebody dying up there. You know what I mean? Like, it's only so close you can get to the bull before something, before you get burnt.
Well, it ain't gonna be necessarily him. It's gonna be somebody else because he wasn't even there that day that situation happened, and if it was, he was the one that called the police. 100% on that video, it said they was there called twice, and Lush wasn't there. Wack break the shit down because Wack was talking to the dude that we just seen right there on the FaceTime. He's the main motherfucker that was coming to get interviewed, and him and Wack is tapped in. And Wack was breaking down the text messages from Lush and that dude right there. Please forgive me, I forgot Brad's name. They come from Vegas all the way to LA, 40D, with other motherfuckers trying to pull up, and Lush out there on some burnt out shit, basically, trying to save his job for the fuck up that he did. 100%. But this is the type of shit when you have this, when this is the energy that drives your content, no matter what's going on. This is the energy that drives your content. Your whole company motto of No Jumper is based around this shit. So you're going to have to, deal with the bullshit that comes with you. You can't control motherfuckers winning, and then the homies want to pull up, especially I might want to put somebody on or something like that on the interview, only 2-3 motherfuckers. Man, fuck all that, man. Let me bring a few of my motherfuckers in here, especially if you feel comfortable enough bringing me in this motherfucker. Let me bring it. 5 motherfuckers or so. I don't know, bro. It's just, it just seemed like he's using everybody else as an scapegoat for the fuck ups that he's allowed to happen at his shit for the people that he allows to be at that motherfucker, bro. Like we said about Mav, Mav is the boss. This is the boss here. There's nobody else, as we know, is him and Josh. Other than that, everybody else just work on that motherfucker. So they do what you allow them to do. 100%, bro.
All right, so this one I'm gonna play. Let's see what Wack talking about. Let's see something.
I've learned that, and if you notice, over time, even when Brick Baby was free, you notice I bagged off Brick Baby 80%.
80% would suggest that you were really going to go a lot harder before this reduction.
Yes, I used to be on him.
You were pretty on him.
Yeah, but
once you got arrested and you had your mission complete as Officer Rat Run Hunter, there was no real reason for you to continue to combat Brick Baby. There was really no reason for you to continue to go against him. Like, you feel me? Big baby, no question.
Right? And I'm like, I can't keep putting him in a situation with Brick looking at this like, man, you at the table with this dude and boom, boom, boom. So that's why I eased up off of that. Right?
So is he saying that he eased up off of Brick because Brick and Loose Cannon were friends? This nigga tells so many lies, so many ways. We don't.
Yeah, I don't see where he's getting to the whole
sloppiest, messiest.
You just talking, bro. Get out of here. Yeah, so I don't know. This is bugged out, but I'm gonna say this though. It's only been so close you can get to the nonsense before something happens. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't put it past Adam that he knew they. But he said, but Lush said it was only 2 of them that was allowed up there, and he didn't know they was gonna come through all super deep.
Yeah, and that's where what we just seen Adam and Wack talking about. So last night's show, it came on in the afternoon, but I caught it last night. You know what I mean? He was breaking that shit down. Like I said, the boy that was supposed to be coming to get interviewed sent Wack the screenshots of the text messages and the communication between him and Lush. And Lush knew exactly what was going on. But Lush is fried too, though. 100%. He likes to relax. He likes to partake in the shenanigans that like to make you go up and up and up. Like Giraffe, you know what I mean? Or 10 feet above. Never mind, but you know what I'm talking about 100%, bro. He loves to partake in that stuff, and he was just burnt out and allowed the situation to turn into something that it shouldn't have been just by giving the word.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know, man. I know at the end of the day, Adam gonna get a new squad and he gonna keep it going. You know what I'm saying? He gonna keep it going. Now, like I said, the more you delve in it, I think that's the potential worse it can get. It goes from vandalization, then what? It's only a matter of time, and I don't think it's gonna be Adam particularly. I think it may be somebody of the staff, or it may be somebody that's coming up there to do an interview. It'll be somebody innocent that get caught up in that. You know what I'm saying?
%.
But there's never gonna be a shortage of dudes that's gonna want to go up there. So, that's where we at with it. You feel me?
Facts.
It's never gonna be a shortage of that. And Wack, it's crazy. Like, he's real strategic, man. He's real strategic. He know how to stay above water, with everything that's going on. You know what I mean? He definitely know how to stay above water, But anything else going on in this one?
Yeah, man. Just when you're going up to No Jumper, just be careful. If I'm going up to No Jumper, I'm definitely coming deep, man. Fuck you. Oh, my mama.
I mean, I don't know. You think they was gonna have all 100 of them gonna come up in there? I don't think so.
And if all the rallies can't come in, then the rallies just need to be in the parking lot, turned up on the premises. You know what I mean? Of course, we can't. The capacity only holds so much. But yeah, let the main rallies come in this motherfucker and rock out, and then the rest of the rallies is somewhere else. Turned up. Partaking in the shenanigans, watching live where the rallies is on the TV, giving the interview. You can have them right there like that type shit. Oh my mama, they was just scared, but
I don't think it is. I don't think Wack wants to. I don't think Adam wants to put himself in a position where, he can't control the room. You see what I'm saying? I don't think he wants to do that. I think he wants to control the room. So, if there's a bunch of folks around and they super deep, it's like, nah, I don't want to. I'll take 2 of y'all, and then I got security and all this other. I gotta feel, in his mind, I gotta feel safe.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a smart business move.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I gotta feel safe.
Oh, my mama.
Word. So that's the only thing. You know what I mean? Now, another thing I was looking at, man. Lil Durk got a second superseding indictment. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, that shit is crazy. I ain't heard that one yet.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it's related to the new, to the new case or whatever the case may be. Let me check this out. Check this out.
Durk. The news wrote, Durk. Did you know the Feds slammed new charges against Lil Durk? The news wrote, Durk is now facing a new charge in his M for Hire case after being hit with a second superseding indictment yesterday, while prosecutors have removed mention of song lyrics, which is terrible for Durk. It reads, on May 1st, a California grand jury indicted Lil Durk. The rapper now faces a new charge of stalking resulting in death in connection with the passing of Quando's cousin in August of 2022. That is in addition to previously being charged with one count of using interstate facilities to commit M for hire, resulting in death, one count of conspiracy, and one count of using, carrying, and discharging firearms and possession of such firearms in furtherance of a crime resulting in death. However, the prosecution has removed all mention of Durk referencing the M in song lyrics in the latest indictment, which cancels out all the defense Durk's lawyers had. This is Durk's lawyer calling the charges a joke, as the feds only had lyric evidence against Durk.
The case is as follows. So there was an indictment that did not name him, right? It named others, and then there was an unindicted person. And then 3 weeks later, that indictment was what's called the first superseding indictment, and it does name him. The indictment was identical, except the unnamed person now became Durk Banks. And this is the really important part, Ak. The second indictment, what's called the first superseding indictment, only had one new fact. It had one new fact, and that was it alleged that there was a video by Durk that celebrated and monetized this.
Knowing.
All right. So this is the thing. I don't know what you think about it.
I want to see the video. What video they talking about?
They was talking about them referencing lyrics and stuff like that, but they removed that from the whole joint. They removed the him mentioning, unalive in his lyrics. They removed that. So they're so confident in their case, they don't need in their mind, they're basically saying they don't need to use that as evidence. They have other evidence. They don't need to use that. And the thing is with Durk, oh man. Now the lawyer going on these podcasts and talking, I don't feel like that's a good look. This is my opinion. You know what I mean? I don't feel like that's a good look. This is an open case. What are you going on podcasts discussing an open case for, bro?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's putting your client at a disadvantage, man. Like I don't know. I don't know, man. That's crazy. And is that who did that lawyer defend it for? Was that the same lawyer that Young Thug had?
Shit, I don't even know, bro.
I don't know. I don't think it is, but I gotta see. I know. I think it might. Is it NBA YoungBoy lawyer? I gotta see him who he defended for. Drew Finley. Yeah, I want to see who he defended before. Let me see, who did he represent? Oh, he represented Trump. Okay, so no, Spiro. Yeah, that's NBA YoungBoy's lawyer.
Oh, okay.
Yep. But NBA YoungBoy case wasn't that crazy compared to like this right here. You know what I mean? Like he never got caught up for nothing like this. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's it's just like stuff with drugs and caught with hammers and stuff like that. But he ain't, you know, it ain't nothing serious like this. So, you know, and then him going out in the public discussing his case, I don't know, man. That's just wild.
Yeah, that's wild for sure.
Yeah, man. You know, man, I hope that Dirk's defense team is able to prove them different. And you know, he come from under this situation, man, because this rabbit hole goes deep. You know what I mean? And you think about it, it's my question, right? Who won the war?
Right.
No, who won the war? You heard?
Mm-hmm.
And no, this is a question. Who you think won the war?
Ain't nobody won the war.
I think NBA YoungBoy in that side won the war, bro.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Cause he home already, and Quando ain't got nothing but a little bit of time.
Yeah, but Quando lost one of his peoples. So don't nobody win. Don't nobody win when you lose peoples, and this shit can continue further and if it wanted to, because blood has been shed. Ain't nobody won that war.
Nah, he won. Because at the end of the day, okay, Dirk lost Von, Quando lost his cousin, right? But you didn't get it was a failed hit. If you think about it, it was a failed hit. You didn't get the person that got your man. You got somebody on the side. But yeah, and still you put a point on the board, allegedly, right? But at the same time, though, it's like now you got to go do life. Now your crew facing life. Your whole empire is crumbling right now. NBA and them, they not crumbling. They still strong. Old boy just got off the ankle monitor. He about to be able to perform. Was end of this year? He about to start performing again. And then Quando ain't got nothing but a little bit of time. 5 years. So Quando soon. Tim got off. You know what I mean? So the original, you know, people that you had the issue with, because the guy you killed wasn't somebody y'all had an issue with. But they killed directly one of your partners, and they out. They all got release dates. One of them never even went to jail. The other one home, about to be off, about to have no obligation to the court, you know, to the courts. And the only last person they waiting on is Quando. While you look at Dirk on the other end, his whole team locked up. All the immediates, they locked up. He locked up. The money is frozen. You know what I'm saying? Not to say he's not making a couple dollars still, but you're not out there to really grab it. You know what I mean?
It ain't over for him yet.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like in a war, 50 said it in his raps, man. You know, the losers get shackled in chains or laid out on the streets, leaking out their brain. You know what I mean? You know, NBA YoungBoy and them still strong, man. So they prevailed in that war. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when it's bloodshed, to me, I just, you know.
I mean, yeah, you know, we could say all of the things like, you know, beef ain't never dead and all that. But for right now, NBA YoungBoy and his team is up. You know what I'm saying? They up. Dirk, the NBA YoungBoy money still flowing, still coming through, still dropping new joints, still doing with the streamers, and still, you know, still doing his thing. Like ain't nothing. He ain't lost a beat. He ain't lost a step. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I mean, in war, you're gonna have a winner and you're gonna have a loser. That's just how it go. You know what I mean? And to know that Von kicked off that situation with them, and then they the ones that end up taking the L. They whole empire crumbled behind trying to go back and forth with them. You know what I'm saying? and then sending that Phil hit. That's what sealed the deal. You know what I mean? Them dudes use credit cards to buy everything they needed for the hit. That's amateur work, bro. It's not veterans. Come on, man. Straight paper trail. Now Dirk up on that bitch hoping that they don't tell, like, you know. Because dudes are killed for you, but they not dying for you. Not just, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go do life. Because, man, listen, man. It ain't too many of them left, man. You know. The only way I feel like Dirk might have a shot is if they could prove that Dirk didn't have knowledge of it and Dirk didn't send in anything. He didn't finance it. He didn't have knowledge of it. Nothing. Completely oblivious of the situation. But even with you know, when they using the lyrics and saying that he rapping about it, this, that, and the third, okay, yeah. I don't think you should have been rapping about anything relating to anything, but whatever. But they're not even using that. You know, they're like, we're confident enough in what we have already. We don't need to use lyrics to convict him. We have wiretaps. We have snitches. We have all kind of shit. We don't need to. That's why when they try to go for a speedy trial, which was smart, they turned it down. They're like, nah, you're not going to rush us to go to trial because we got evidence. You're going to wait. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. Young boy looking real strong right now, man. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Anything going out on that one?
Nah.
Yeah. Well, you know, free Dirk. You know what I mean? And you know, I hope he's able to get from up under the situation, man, so he get back to his family and feed his kids and whatnot. You feel me? Real talk. You know, let him know where you can find you at.
Man, you can find me on the Fans Perspective. You can find me on Gen Wealth, and you can find me on the Hard to Start podcast, man. Type in anything Hard to Start on any social. We gonna pop up, man. On everything. Come pull up on your boy. Get locked in, man. 100%.
For sure. You know what I mean? You can catch me on From a Fan's Perspective on YouTube. We out.
Come on now.
All right.